Everyone is talking about AI in education as if the main question is about whether students are cheating or not. But for TESOL teachers, I think the question is a lot bigger than that. So, what does AI mean for the major issues in TESOL, such as student judgment, their ability to prompt, their autonomy? What about the ethics of all of this? And what about assessment as well? In this episode, we are talking about digital literacies and AI, but more specifically, we're thinking about whether AI has changed what it means to write and to communicate in English. And perhaps the most important question for us as professionals is how do we use AI without losing student voice and without losing student agency. Okay, so let's start by thinking about our professional reflections on this. So Ida, I don't know, do you want to start with this? What do you think about this issue?
I think first of all, AI is really everywhere around us, right? Even outside our professional life. Now, you turn your head and there you go, it's AI. I was listening
Yeah.
to Spotify the other day, and there is this AI DJ, or you open Google, there is this AI assistant. I'm like, oh my God, AI is just everywhere. And of course, AI literacy is a buzzword in our field. Is something that you see coming up in a lot of publications recently, in major
Mm,
journals in our field. I started seeing them a lot in my master's students' dissertation
yeah.
project. So
Yeah.
AI literacy is definitely the trend.
Yeah.
It's becoming an issue in a way, and of course, in our practice, as applied linguists and lecturers in academic literacy, we see a lot of that in our students'
Yeah.
work, the discussion around, the ethical use of, AI. It's there, it's everywhere. I
Yeah,
see it
it's
every day.
there and it's everywhere, isn't it? I think as well from my experience and in my practice at the moment that a lot of people are really frightened of AI. I think that teachers are frightened that they're going to be replaced. A lot of academics are frightened that the work their students are giving them is not genuinely their own authored work. But I think also students are kind of a bit scared of it as well. They're not always being transparent about how they're using it, which makes me
Mhm.
think that they don't actually understand the boundaries of
Yeah.
how they should use it. You know, what do you think
Mhm.
about that?
100%, 100%. Time and time again, I can see this coming up in my supervisions when I'm talking to my students. There's this look, and we both know about the elephant in the room, right? Okay, there is AI
Yeah,
involved. And I really
yeah,
started to be transparent with my students and just be open and honest to them and say, look, we all know that AI is around nowadays. It's very tempting to use it. I use it. And that is not an issue per se, so long as I really like that you use the word boundaries. So long as you set your boundaries
yeah,
clearly with the use of AI, so that in that realm of using AI, you don't lose yourself and
yeah,
your agency
yeah.
and your autonomy and your voice, because that's why you're here, right? You're doing a
Exactly. Yeah,
master's. It's a brilliant opportunity for you to really grow in that sense, as a thinker, as a critical thinker with
yeah,
an critical mind. So you obviously don't want to deprive yourself of that. But yes, there is AI, and yes, it can be used to our benefit.
yeah,
So how can we do that? So yes, I come across it a lot, and all these concerns absolutely are valid, and we hear a lot about them. And I think
yeah,
really one way, like any concerning issue in life, one of the best ways to approach the issue is to first understand it, accept it, and embrace it, and then see how we can navigate around it, so that we have a sense of authority over it. We
yeah,
acknowledge it, know that it's there, and we're not intimidated by it. In fact, again, going a bit outside our field, the famous historian Harari has been talking a lot about AI and its impact on us as human beings and where we are heading to. And he really also shares the same mindset that acceptance, understanding, embracing AI
Mm.
will us, because we will still be somehow, I'm really trying to refuse using the word in control, but we will still have authority over it. Whereas if we feel like intimidated
Yeah.
by it, feel like
Like,
ignoring it. Mhm.
yeah, I
It
quite
just,
often say to students, and I think maybe this is in the kind of realm of what you're talking about, is that when is AI helping you? Like, when is it the scaffolding that's helping you, and when is it doing all the work, or when is it doing all the
yeah,
heavy lifting? Yeah,
yeah,
and that
ex-
makes sense in the language classroom as well. If say as the teacher, I go and do the work for my student, okay, they might get 10 out of 10 in that homework or that test, but they haven't learned anything if I've
yeah,
stepped in and done all of that for them. And the principle's the same. If the person next to you is way better than you, and you let them do all your work, or you let them do the homework, okay, maybe like you can hand the homework into the teacher and the teacher's like, oh, well done, you've got like 10 out of 10, that's amazing. But actually, what did you learn? Nothing
exactly.
from it.
Exactly. It's just very performative, and it really, in its core, it means nothing. And I think that's important. That's why it's important to really look at key issues around
Yeah.
AI, use of AI, particularly in our field. That kind of awareness will hopefully help us inform our practice around it. So, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're going to do today in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've done is we've scanned the literature for you, and we have seen a paper which we thought was kind of interesting. This paper is also open access. It's from the journal called TESOL Quarterly, and the authors are Shin et al., and it was published in 2026. So it's really just like fresh off the press, which is great. And remember, on TESOL with Mickey and Ida, we are trying to bridge this gap between theory and practice. We are providing you with university level content for free. Yeah. So we'll put the link into the show notes, and if you're able to, you can access the actual paper. So it's open access, so it's free for everybody to read. From reading this paper, Ida, first of all, what do you think? There's a number of issues in it
Yes.
about
Yeah.
digital literacies and AI. Like, what
Mhm.
stood out to you, which you think might be really helpful for the listener?
Yes, I think that, like you said, the paper has very nicely um, kind of summarizes the issues that we have been encountering lately around AI. And the very first one that I think also is very important is the issue of authorship. So AI changes authorship.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
students, particularly language students, use AI to generate content. Now, that can be ideas, that can be images, could be text, scripts, any aspect of the work that they're asked to produce. The authorship here is really hard to define. Who is the
Yeah.
author? And it's not just about, did the student write this? I think I really like what the how the authors in the paper kind of define this issue, that it's really beyond that, beyond, oh, who wrote
Yeah.
the text. It's about what role did the student play in shaping, in judging, in revising, and taking responsibility for this text. That's a very good question to think about when it comes to authorship.
Yeah. Yeah. And judgment's really important to critical thinking, isn't it? As a critical thinker, you need to be able to make judgments and to make calls
Yes.
on stuff. And
Yeah.
if I know if AI did all the work for you, then you can't make the call because you're over reliant on that. And that makes me think
Exactly.
about the assessment aspect
Mhm.
that came up in this paper, and that really stood out to me. And
Mhm.
it said something along the lines of assessment needs to include process and reflection. Is that what you were meaning when what you're bringing up there, or does that overlap with this issue?
Overlap. Yeah, it does overlap because, like, obviously, in that educational context, we will always have some sort of assessment, and then the question
Yeah,
really is, who are we assessing? Who is the
yeah,
author?
Yeah.
And when it comes to, to kind of more technical, using more technical assessment uh, terms like the construct is, is that students
Yeah.
language knowledge, is that the AI that we are
Yeah.
assessing, what is it we are assessing really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. So, as I say it, if we are only assessing the end product of a process, then we're kind of in trouble as assessors
Yes.
with
Yeah.
when AI could be involved. And I guess we're falling a little bit back into that old argument of, is it cheating or is it not? But we have to think
Yeah.
about that. What's the process of learning, and how can we assess the whole process? Can the student reflect on the process?
Yeah, exactly. If we are in a context where we can be more transparent with students, ideally, and we all acknowledge the use of AI and even embrace it and even look at the benefits of,
Yeah.
using it, then perhaps one way of alternative assessment is, um, one type of alternative assessment is to really assess the processes involved in using AI, because that is still cognitively, that requires cognitive engagement. Students are
Yeah.
cognitively involved. Hopefully, with the right direction in how to use AI responsibly, there is still cognitive involvement. There is still some
Yeah.
sort of autonomy and ownership, and that can be assessed. That could be an alternative assessment. But what I found really interesting, another issue that stood out as I was reading the paper, and can perhaps link into that kind of a new construct emerging in relation to language literacy and proficiency, is the prompt literacy. So the
Yeah,
authors
that was
are,
interesting.
it seems, yeah, it says that prompt literacy is becoming a TESOL issue as well. So they kind of treat prompting as a new literacy practice, that students need to
Hmm.
know how to write clear prompts, right? Because we have used AI, we know that if you don't give it a clear prompt, it is still quite dumb, if I may
Yeah,
say.
oh, it can do
So
it can do a ton of dumb stuff,
it
especially if
does.
you don't prompt well. Yeah.
Giving a clear prompt, or giving clear prompts, refining them, and evaluating the response that you receive, right? You need to be able to understand the response as a reader. So a lot
Yeah.
of reading skills is involved, and using the written instructions to control, multimodal output, particularly if you're going to go beyond text. It becomes so important to, at the clarity of the prompt, and the accuracy of it. So that matters for TESOL. It's all about, it's
Yeah.
all language. That's through language,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely, and that I think this is an aspect of our practice that we really need to up our game with as
yeah,
well. And
yeah,
this
yeah,
requires a lot of confidence from the teacher, the practitioner, and also from the student as well. That it's here. Everybody is using it. Let's learn how to use it well and responsibly, and prompt literacy is a really, really important aspect of
yeah.
that, which I
Mhm.
guess brings us to kind of maybe like the final point we're going to raise from this paper. But it also mentioned issues which are really important to me, are around ethics, and also the fact that AI can produce like false or biased content. So what's your thoughts around those three overlapping issues?
Yes. Well, ethical authorship. And I'm so glad, and I kind of expected that to be mentioned in the paper. It's a very important aspect of, obviously, AI and use of AI, and obviously the authors argue that students need to show autonomy. This is something that you mentioned earlier, in relation to use of AI, credibility and criticality. So autonomy means, and I think I talked about that, how students are controlling the AI rather than just simply accepting the output. Look, that again requires, because that's language work, right? There's a lot of reading involved and comprehension and
Yeah.
understanding the response. And that again is, the control that we bring in as users of the AI, if you like. So credibility also means, how they can check accuracy, the relevance, of the text that is produced or the output, whatever it is, the reliability of it. And criticality is also needed because they can notice bias, as you said, hallucinations sometimes, false
Yeah.
kind of
Hey, absolutely. Yeah. And
yeah,
hallucinations are is really serious, you know? If
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
hallucinations in your work, like it's that's terrible. It means that you don't actually understand what you're talking about.
yeah,
You
yes,
have let AI just take over and do all of this work
yes,
for you.
yes,
And the thing about hallucinations are that, like, think of the genuine meaning of the word. Hallucinations
yeah,
look real, but they're not.
yes,
But you look at
yeah,
them
yeah.
and they feel like they're real, and it's the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And look how important it is really. I really love when they talk about ethical authorship. It's not really about a piece of writing. That piece of writing identifies a lot of characteristics and characteristics of the writer. So if there's no criticality in really noticing the bias, the cultural assumptions, the misleading content, that's how you're representing yourself to the world, right? So it's
Yeah,
not just about writing a sleek grammar, error-free kind of text. It really, in a way, represents you and how you think and how you see the world if you really don't use it
yeah.
responsibly and with the right level of autonomy, credibility, and criticality. So that's important. These are things that you can easily include in our teaching, but you also well, I think we talked about false and biased content as another issue related to that. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in that sense?
I think that's most of the issues that we've covered, and it made me think that when we were talking about like AI literacy, and we were kind of getting into the realm of academic communication. And for the listener, we're actually going to be starting a new channel on academic communication, so you might want to look out for that. We've been meaning to launch it for a while, but we're super busy. But that's something else we're gonna focus on,
Yes.
and we'll go
Yes.
into a lot more depth in terms of academic communication, including stuff about AI and how a lot of our students in the university context are getting themselves into a lot of trouble with AI by accident. So if you're interested in some of those issues and interested in academic communication, please look out for a new channel, which is Academic Communication with Miki and Ida, which is coming soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all fingers crossed and toes. I think I just wanted to finish by thinking about maybe a couple of questions. And I'm not saying that we're going to answer this question, but the listener might be interested in some questions. Some questions that I had, I don't know what you had, Ida, maybe you had something similar, but I had questions around ethics of, I wrote a couple of these down. How can students show ethical authorship when using AI? And this might be a
Mhm.
question which you want to discuss in class, you want to think about as a teacher, or if you're interested in doing a research project, it might be something that you might want to follow up. I also thought, like, another one I had was, should prompt writing count as language work in TESOL? Which I think would be an interesting area to explore. What kind of questions did you have, or did you have
Yeah,
anything
I've had
similar?
so many other questions as well. One of them, obviously, as someone who's a lot involved in assessment, is that whether we are assessing the student or the AI output or the student's decision making. So, what is it that we are assessing? Are we redefining the language
Yeah.
construct? Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
And so
And
many
what
other
we're going to
questions.
do, yeah,
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 that's
no,
it.
for sure. There's so many questions from this, and I think this is a really interesting area to explore if you are a dissertation student doing a master's, if you are a PhD student, or even if you're a practitioner who's concerned or interested in this area. So what we are going to do is we're going to put together a one-page PDF of what we think are the most important questions to ask at this moment, which you could use as research questions or you could use as professional development questions as a practitioner. So if you would like that PDF, please drop a comment in the comment section below, just giving us your opinion about AI and digital literacies at the moment, and make sure you put a hashtag AI challenges underneath there, and then we'll send you the link to the PDF after that. So let's just wrap up the episode then. So I think the key takeaways from this discussion are that AI is really a question of literacy for me, and students need to know they need to know how to write effective prompts. They need to be able to evaluate AI outputs, checks for bias, for false information, and really make thoughtful and critical choices. This also means that we need to think about our assessment practices and how these may need to change, looking well beyond the final product of what has been assessed, and moving away from questions of did the student use AI, did the student cheat, and thinking did the student use AI critically, responsibly, and in what way has it benefited or hampered their learning. So if this episode has made you think about communication more broadly, check out our new channel on academic communication with Mickey and Ida, or maybe you would want to check out our explainer on communicative language teaching. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time. Thank you.